Oh, hello there. Yes, well, thrilling, isn't it? Eh? So many interesting things happening in the world. Yes. Now, those of you of a certain age, and I know a lot of you are, will remember a kinder world, a gentler world, a world where we were only 5, and then we were thrust out from that world, weren't we? We had to become teenagers, boo hiss, but at the same time, we learnt so many interesting things about the world, and we were lucky enough to grow up in a time when people were very cynical, rightly so, about the world around them. So we grew into a world of punk rock music, and indeed 2000 AD. Oh, joys, yes. With a very cynical view of things like imperialism and American power. Some of you remember Bad Bob Booth, allegedly the final President of the United States, who was encapsulated all the worst things you could think of about American politicians. And events were set basically where he was deposed in 2060. But we seem to be a little bit before that particular timeline. Yes, we seem to be moving much closer to a demagogue. Yes. So anyway, we had all of the delightful news yesterday about Trump's appointments, and the British press is now in a bit of a quandary because having salivated at the idea of all the great things that Trump is going to do, they're now going to have to pretend that all of them are brilliant. Come back to that concept. So I'm just going to show you a selection of headlines from the Daily Telegraph yesterday, which is a very big Trump supporter, and one slightly odd one from the Times. But anyway, all of these just basically you can find on the Telegraph site if you want to read them. So first up, Trump is handing out top jobs on one condition. Yes, you see, you have to be a Trump loyalist. That's the one condition, which is very odd in its own way because, of course, lots of people that he has appointed oddly haven't been that loyal to him. He does have a vice president, after all, who called him a Nazi. But I imagine that the allure of money sort of has made that okay. The biggie, of course, is that Trump is suggesting he's going to get rid of woke generals. Now, the worrying part about this is that he's going to vet them on loyalty. So you can see it would be very important for American soldiers who swear an oath of allegiance to the Constitution to instead effectively have an oath of allegiance to, the president. I can't think of any historical Hitler parallels 1930s about that. I don't know if you can. Hard to say, really. As for the rest of them, yes, they are loonies and dingbats. They are Bad Bob Booth encapsulated. His new Defence Secretary, Pete, who you can catch videos of him throwing axes at band members. I'm not kidding there. You can look that up for yourself. Famously is a man also who, apart from being a Fox News host, which obviously is a very good qualification for everything in the world, hasn't washed his hands because he doesn't believe in germs. Although I imagine he's a very good Christian, because after all, you do want to believe in things, don't want to believe in things that don't exist, but you will believe in an all-powerful God. Which inevitably, talking of all-powerful gods, and leads us neatly, of course, to Elon Musk, who, yes, is going to be jointly in charge of government efficiency /cuts, and I mean /cuts, jointly, unfortunately, so we can look forward to the two of them falling out on that particular one. That'll be a laugh, won't it? Anyway, yeah, we don't really want the government to spend any money because, after all, there's that nirvana ahead whereby the state does nothing at all. And of course we can think of all those great examples in the British state whenever people have tried to cut public spending, and it's all gone so well. Margaret Thatcher managed it not in the slightest, apart from causing mass misery across vast swathes of the UK. Luckily, though, not Twickenham. Hooray for that. Yes, in terms of that spurious notion, which the British press again is wedded to, that the world will be a safer place, well, yeah, probably not, because Marco Rubio, yeah, he's back again, even though, he fell out with Trump in many ways, but never mind that now, I'm sure that won't be important in 4 months' time, yeah, has said he's against a Gaza ceasefire. Of course you are, mate, because of course the world will be safer, when all the Palestinians are gone. Yes, all those people in northern Israel that have had to be evacuated because of intermittent rocket fire can now just stay away the entire time, because it won't be intermittent, will it? No. And unfortunately, of course, they will have all the ongoing problems that they have in Lebanon in terms of actually having to fight people that are equipped. Oh dear. And just in case these things have passed you by or you think they're not going to be important, I'll point you to this particular article in the Times, which should alarm people. Zelensky's nuclear option. Ukraine months away from a bomb. Yeah, there we go. Kiev could rapidly develop a rudimentary weapon similar to that dropped to Nagasaki in 1945 to stop Russia if the US cuts military aid. Yeah, and you can see the way that that's going to make all of us so much safer, isn't it? Yes, the idea of a nuclear-armed power that really is on the brink of defeat. Who does that remind you of? Yes, it's the Russians all over again. But of course, the problem is, of course, that Trump quite likes Putin. He doesn't like other people. And we should live in a world without any particular checks and balances, particularly, for example, from a potential military that might have to uphold the Constitution, that would put, brakes on what we want to do. It's all about the personality. It's all about bad Bob Booth all over again, isn't it? But sometimes, truth is stranger than fiction, which of course leads to the inevitable stuff about the British media, because the British media, a bit like the American media, a bit like Donald Trump himself, will soon find that when everything falls apart, the reason why is because of the blob, the enemy within, the communists that have stopped everything from working so well. And what we'll need in that case is a lot more laws to get rid of them. So even though British journalists are a bit worried about the woke police coming around, it won't be the woke police coming around. It'll be an actual group of thuggish types who really don't mind if you die on the way to the centre. Still, that's just me being, having to deal with, a kind of odd fictionalised future, like in 2000 AD, where human life is very, very cheap. Still, I'm sure it won't be as bad as all that, eh? I'm sure. Yeah, I really am. It won't be. Probably, anyway. Still, we can at least read about it in 100 years' time when, the books are written, and we can see then clearly exactly what was going on. Some of us already can, of course, but, yeah, you don't want to listen to people like me because I'm on the wrong side. I don't really understand. Not properly in the way that, for example, the leader writers of the Daily Telegraph do. Anyway, do have a beautiful day. Enjoy the sunshine whilst you can. Oh, yes. It will soon be the weekend, and it will soon be the end. This is good.